What's going on, guys? I thought I'd make a video today on what I do when I'm selling cards. What's some of the tips and tricks that I've learned and I've actually gotten off of other people on making money to help you out in the long run. There's a couple things you can do. Doesn't take that much time and effort. If you want to make some coins, this is what you should do yourself. Otherwise, you can go ahead and just post these cards up for stupid numbers and hope for the best, and probably not come out with the outcome you want. So I'm going to try to sell a Frank Gore and probably a Ray Rice. I just posted two of them up already, so maybe actually I'll pick another card now, I think. And I want to put two more of the same ones up there on auction. But yeah, I'm going to just go over an example. Let me find a card here that I want to sell. And I'm going to go over what I do to try to make the most money out of the card I can get. So we're going to just look up a playoff. I don't care what position. I got a bunch of playoff cards right now. Let's look up, I got two Geno Atkins. Let's see what I can get out of defensive tackle from the Bengals. Geno Atkins, you can see he's a +2 power move add-on to the attributes. You can see his stats on the back of the card. Pretty decent card. 3 contracts. Let me get the next one. I think the other one's a 16. Oh, he's a 72. Dang. Do I have any more? Okay, here we go. Here's a 16. We'll take this one. This is a fresh card right out of a pack. I haven't even used them. Virgin card. We'll take this guy. 97 defensive tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's add him to my active cards. As soon as I get done doing some research here, showing you what I do, I can sell them. So let's go to my auctions, search. We want a player, we want a playoff. What we say he was a defensive end. Whoops, where'd he go? I just missed him. Well, I forget what he was. We'll do it this way. We'll just do Cincinnati. Because apparently I'm having a brain fart of what the heck I just said he was. Defensive tackle. I don't know why I thought he was. Anyways, let's go back to defensive tackle. Sometimes you gotta write this stuff down. If you're like me, I got short-term memory loss, and it gets irritating after a while. Alright, so here we go. This is specific playoff cards for Geno Atkins, Cincinnati Bengals defensive tackle. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get on this page is I'm going to move over to my buy column, and I'm going to hit the sort button one time. That's going to make the cheapest price cards come to the top of the list, automatic. You can see that there's only 4 pages on here. If you look just above where the right bumper button is, you can scroll through the pages. There's only 60 cards on here for him, so there's not that many cards. That's good. There's only a small supply. That means you can get more out of the card. So let's go down to this one right here. This is the cheapest one. I'm not worried about the 2 zeros. These are going into bid wars. I don't want to deal with trying to set up an auction type of bid war scenario. I just want to put a buy it now option on there, so that way they can just sell the card and get it over with. These playoff cards are all going into collections, so you want to make sure that when you're doing your research right now that you look for the card that's non-collected. Like this one right here is for 5,000 coins. It's got 37 minutes left. If you look on the card just to the left of the card, it says collected, going straight from the top down. If you buy this card, you use them, and you find out it's not what you want, and you want to throw them in the collection yourself, this one you want to be able to because it's already been collected. You got to make sure that when you're doing your research on the value of the card, you look up the one that's exactly like what yours is. So let's scroll down to one that's non-collected. This guy right here. He's starting to bid off at 5,700. The buy value is at 5,700, and he's got about 9 hours. So we'll just say 8.5 hours left. So you're going to want to remember that and he's got 16 contracts. I always want to look at the contracts. If he's got a lot more than I do, he's got a lot less, you can kind of use that to adjust what your price is going to be. So we're going to come back to my screen now. After looking at a couple more here, looks like primarily a lot of these auctions have just started. Like this guy's got 22, 23, 2 days. I don't understand why people have over 2 days. 24 hours is plenty time to sell the card. If you don't need to go over 2 days. Because really, if the value goes up on these all of a sudden for some reason, and you don't play the game in a couple of days, and say the card all of a sudden goes from being, we'll just say, worth $6,000, like this guy's asking, to all of a sudden $15,000, that doesn't give you enough time to adjust your price, and you just lost out on $9,000. So having an auction up for that long, I mean, typically that's not going to happen, but you never know. If it happens on a day that a new collection comes out and somebody wants to collect the card and the value skyrockets and you don't get in there to change it, you just lost out on some coin, man. So really 24 hours is all you need. So we're going to go back, remember the price. The non-collected card is for $5,700. So we're going to back up to my screen to the specific card I want to sell. We'll go to player, and then we'll search on the right trigger for a defensive tackle. And here he is. Here's Geno Atkins. Now, we said that on the auction he was going for $5,700. Quick sell discard value right here for the guys that have just started doing this. That is a value that you can automatically sell a card for. It varies everywhere, anywhere from like 50 coins for some of the cheap rookie cards up to 10,000 for the legendary cards. It's something that EA Sports has done to try to make the market fair, so that way you can't undercut somebody too much, and you can't put a stupid price on a card for, like, to say this card for instance, you can't put the card up there for $150,000 and expect somebody to buy it. I mean, if somebody does, then they're an idiot and you got lucky as hell. So this is just to try to give it a rough estimate of what the card's valued at. I don't know how they come up with the numbers. I think they just come up with something and they put it on there. But now you realize that if I try to sell a card for $5,700, that's only a 700 coin difference than if I was to just sit here now and push the A button twice and get the card off of my hands. But hey, 700 coins, that's almost 1,000. You never know. That's a lot of coins for someone just starting out. So look at that number. If the number's like only 100 coins more, or maybe it's like, for whatever reason, like maybe less than 100, sometimes it's just easier to just quick sell this card now, get the coins. That frees up your active player cards number. Like right now I got 52 out of 55. I've only got spare room for 3 cards. If I'm trying to move some cards right now, it's nice to have a lot of space to be able to get more cards, put them on the market. So look at that. Sometimes it's just as easy to get rid of the card that way than wasting the time of it still taking up space. Because when you put a card on auction, it's going to come off your active player cards number. But if the card doesn't sell at the end of the auction time, it's going to come back, and that sometimes will cause your active roster to go over 55, and then the computer gets all ticked off at you and starts yelling at you because your roster's over the number, and then you got to go in there and just move cards around and put them into your active, your roster, your reserves cards, and it's just a pain in the butt. So keep an eye on that. So now going back to the auction block, we're going to send it. We know that it was for $5,700. I like to always have my numbers end on a 99. I think that that's just more eye appealing. It'll catch someone's attention better than a flat number. I like the 99. So I'm going to set my price. We know it's at 57, so I'm going to set mine at $56.99. Whoops. Like I said, we're going to set it at $56.99. And the starting price I'm going to do at $49.99. Starting price I don't really care about. I try to keep it somewhat close to what my buy it now price is, so that way, in case nobody buys it and they start bidding on it, I don't lose out too much. So that's only a 1 coin difference than the 5,700. But I guarantee you that when someone's up there looking, they're going to see that 56 and they're going to be like, well, I'm going to buy that one because it's 5,600. They're not going to realize in their head subconsciously there's only a 1 coin difference. They're not making that big of a deal on the price, but they're still going to buy mine first. So that's what I do. I put it out there for 1 coin less, if it's at a flat number. Sometimes you'll see cards that go for, like, we'll say $57.50. I'll still go $56.99. It'll be a 51 coin difference, but it's still, I want to go one coin under the 100 of the other one, if that makes sense. If that other card is at 57 something, I want it at 56. If that card's at 67, I want it at 66. It's just as simple as that. And put a 99 at the end, so that way it's almost the same, but it's just a little bit different. That'll catch their eyes. That's easier to do if that makes sense to you. And that's all there is to it. And now it's posted, and hopefully we'll see that it'll be sold here within the next couple hours. A couple other things that I do real quick is I always try to sell my card on the weekends when there's more people playing. You know, during the week time, you got kids that got school, guys that are working, whatever. You might put a card up for auction that would normally sell on a weekend, but because no one's getting on the game, they don't see it. You know, I try to get on the game at least once a night, so that way I can always check my auctions out real quick and see what's going on. But a lot of my high value cards, I know they're going to be pulling us some big bucks. I try to put on the weekends because I know that's when people are playing. So remember that. Always look at the supply and what the demand is. If you go into an auction and there's a whole bunch of pages up there of that same card, chances are yours ain't going to sell unless you put it up for a cheap price. So if you need the money fast, try the quick sell. See if you'll be losing a lot of money doing it that way. Or if you really don't need the money, hold on to the card for a while until that supply drops and there's less cards out there, because you'll have a better chance to be able to get the price that you want for it. Remember, it's what you want, not what they want. You're the one that wants the money. They're the one that wants the card. You've got the upper hand. Don't cut your prices just to sell a card because you need the money. There's other ways to do it. Another thing you want to remember is just really just have a good time. Try to keep the prices low when you're buying them, and try to keep the prices high when you're selling them. Again, you want to do it on the weekends if possible. That way there's more people looking at them when they're playing the games. And biggie on those cards that are collected, make sure you keep your eye on that, because those collected cards aren't as valuable as the non-collected cards. That gives that person buying that card another opportunity to put it in their collections. I myself don't do the collections. I think it's a waste of time, but other people out there think it's fun, so keep your eye out for that collection. Make sure that card is exactly the same as what yours is, along with how many contracts are on it. Make sure those contracts are close to yours. If you're looking up a card that, say, is, you know, got 180 contracts on it, and he's trying to sell it for, say, 6,500, and your card's only got 16 contracts, you should probably only be asking for probably about maybe 58, 5900, because that's a lot of contracts. Those all cost money, unless you get them out of a pack, which costs money to get the, you know what I'm saying, the pack. So you got to be conscious of that. Along with, make sure if you're buying a card off an auction, make sure that you have enough contracts on it when you go to sell it. Make sure you don't buy one that's got less than 5 and then try to put it back on there, because people ain't going to buy it. Take the time to do some research before you post cards up there. And one last thing, for you idiots out there that are putting these cards up for like 150,000 and the value is only at 8 grand, what are you thinking? I don't understand what the point of that is. I mean, are you really thinking someone's going to be that ignorant to just go up there and buy it? That irritates me when I see those crazy numbers. There's no point. You're wasting your time. I guess you don't have a life. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw people under the bus here, but you know what I mean? Just take some time, do some research, have fun at the game, you know, enjoy yourself, and make some money. Buy low, sell high. Watch supply and demand, do it on the weekends. Have a good time, man. I don't think there's anything else I forgot to talk about. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment below. Hit me up. I'd be interested to hear from you. See ya.